The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. I am your host Sean Garmer, and here with me is always Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
Well, there's more gaming news than I thought there was after having to go back, I think like half a week that we had already missed. But this is, wow, it's been that long. Jeez, I keep forgetting it had been, whatever. This is, I think it's number 161 for all the episodes here, as I think I forgot to put a number on the last one, so that's why I was confused. But anyway, of course, Comic-Con happened, so we'll talk about some of the trailers that they showed, I guess what we think of those, and some of the TV announcements coming out of that as well. But there's been, of course, some new games to come out since then. Namely, one called Pyre that came out about 3 days ago, the newest game from Supergiant, which, of course, if you don't know who they are the ones that made Bastion and Transistor. And this one seems to be another hit. They have another hit on their hands. Both of us are playing this. You're a little bit farther than I am. But how are you liking the game?
It seems good. It's pretty different from like their past efforts. It still has some of the familiar feel to it, but like you're not attacking creatures and stuff like that. You're playing like almost like basketball or a game that's kind of close to what it is.
It's like a mixture of both games, sort of. You have the kind of RPG-ish stuff from Bastion, and the, like, you're walking up but you're not attacking anything, and there's sort of some strategy from Transistor. There's no, like, sort of, like, real-time strategy gameplay, but there is strategy of having to figure out how to get through. I guess I should mention that this game has a story. It's sort of, you're like this person that they find on just like the street.
I think it's supposed to be like hell or like some version of limbo or something.
Yeah, like purgatory. That's what it is. So like there's people that are trapped and they can't get out of where they are, obviously, because you're in purgatory. So you're like the reader or the player or whatever, but they call it the reader in this game because you have to read this ancient text that tells them where they're supposed to do, and then you kind of let them. You're leading them sort of on their journey to continue to go through levels and beat these other, I guess you can call them teams, of 3. And basically, if every team that you beat, you're going up a level in purgatory. I don't know how many of these there are. I've played 3 of them. You played 5, I think.
4 or 5, yeah, something like that. Like I got one new character, so.
I have the one new character too.
The last mission I stopped at, I wasn't like a traditional game. It was more top down. Like creatures were attacking me, and I had to defend like my area. It was different from the normal game.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm glad that it changes after a while. But so, do you like the sort of the base game, the gameplay that's there? I mean, do you like what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, like getting around is fun. You only control one character at a time out of 3. Like the other 2 just kind of sit there until you like go like select them. Yeah, it feels fluid and good.
I mean, you can like pass the orb around, sort of like that's why Mark made this sort of NBA Jam basketball comparison. Is you're essentially
Yeah.
trying to get this orb into a hole,
Yeah.
and you score points every time you do, but you have to get it around the defense, sort
Yeah,
of.
like every player basically has like a ring around them, and if you go into the ring, the other player is like goes into like a penalty box for like 10 seconds or something. So it's all about like trying to maneuver your character around these other rings, and when you have the ball, you don't have a ring anymore; it disappears. So you're defenseless.
Yeah, you do have, and of course you have to get rid of the ball in order to. You can pass it to one of your other people that you have in there, and each one of them has different characteristics. Like one of them's fast, the other one is sort of they can jump higher, and the other one's just this big slow mammoth thing.
Yeah.
Which is obviously really powerful.
Yeah, it has like a big ring compared to like the small character.
Did you like using like all three, or did you like? I wound up once I got the fourth character, kind of liking to have like a sort of faster group.
I like the slow character because I place her at the enemy base, and then they all get wiped out.
That's smart too. Yeah, you can do that. That's what's cool is it does create various ways you can play the game, and there's also skill trees that you unlock after you gain the first level, and you choose one of two skill trees for each character.
There was an old Xbox game called Death Row. I don't think you ever played it.
I do remember the name though. Yeah.
But it was a 4-on-4 sports game, like futuristic sports game, where you're trying to get a flying like a power disc inside of a hoop, like a floating hoop, and it reminds me a lot of that. And the ironic thing is Greg Kasavin, the guy who wrote the game, who wrote Pyre, he reviewed Death Row like back 15 years ago on GameSpot.
Well, you can see where the that all comes from for him. I think nice that he draws things from other games. Do you like the characters and the story, sort of? I mean, a lot of it is sort of just interacting with them.
It's so early on that I can't really tell. I don't know about the you have the PS4 version. I like the PC one. Like there's stuff highlighted in like the text that's kind of like annoying to read. I find. And like the interface doesn't seem quite as clean as it should be. As far as like the not sports game part. Like the sports game like seems fine, but like the having dialogue options and stuff like that doesn't seem quite as intuitive as maybe I would have liked.
Yeah, it does. It's sort of like like a book is happening in front of you, and you get like little definitions of things. I think it works the first time. Once you've already seen the definition for that, if you didn't click on it the first time, I mean, it should just go away and not have that red highlighted text there. But I can kind of understand. Some people might just read along, and then as you get to understand more of what the world is and everything, you might want to go, oh, okay, what is the Commonwealth? And you can highlight over it and find out what that is. Or
yeah, but it seems good. I mean, for $20, it's a good game.
Yeah, and I do kind of like the different characters. You don't, at least where we are, you haven't gotten to find. Like I still haven't found out any of them, like the reason they're there. Which each one of them, you'll get certain parts where if you go back in your little wagon thing that you have, you can talk to a certain one that happens to be there. Yeah, and eventually you get to unlock, like, depending on the dialogue option you choose, which I didn't choose the dialogue option for the one guy that's gotten to that point for me, of finding out why they're in purgatory.
It reminds me a little of like the Banner Saga, where you had like the gameplay part and then like the whole wagon part.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, it's a really good game, and I think people should definitely check it out. At least watch some gameplay, and I totally recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see next. Like, we'll play more within the next week and a half, and go from there.
So you gotten to play more Final Fantasy 12. I have not.
Yeah, I played actually. I mean, I don't think I'm that far in the game, but I've dumped a lot of hours into it. Let's see. I'm not even sure where I am. Let's see. I think I'm like this Selikowood.
Mm.
I'm in some like forest area.
Okay, yeah, I kind of know where you are. I just.
Or like the High Waste. Mosteran High Waste, I think that's where I am also. Or like around that area. I just had
The
to like beat it.
names.
Yeah. Like I'm at this point in the story where like Vane killed his Emperor dad and is like basically tried to take over.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I know where you're at. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually getting into it. Like I don't really like the story seems kind of neither here nor there, but like the gameplay is fine. Yeah.
Do you like the having to sell the loot to get?
Kind of yes and no. I kind of wish you guys got money. But like it seems interesting because like you get the bizarre items, or yeah.
Yeah, that you have no idea what they're worth, and then you go, "Oh crap! Wow, this is like 5,000 gold.
Yeah.
Great."
Yeah, I'm unlocking like a lot of the license for it because like gameplay. I mean, you just hold like the 2X button down and your character's just auto battle, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
I did like my first optional Esper battle like last night. It took an hour. That sucked.
How you mess with the gambits very much?
Not really. I've tried to lean a little into like the healing stuff just because that seems a little more easier to comprehend. I got a technique for a few characters called Shades of Black, and that casts like a random black magic spell for free. Like it doesn't take MP, and all of my warriors have that, which is kind of funny. So half the time I'm not even attacking with Vaughn anymore. I'm just keep like pressing, like keep doing that over and over. And sometimes you get something crappy like, poison or bio or something. But like a lot of times you get like flare or like high level magic spells.
But status elements do actually work a lot better in that game than in other games.
Yeah, so. I'm following this one guide, and the guide is like, pick up this one item. It's like the item is supposed to be like is the reverse of healing items. Like if you cast a potion on yourself, it's supposed to like deal damage to you.
Mm-hmm.
But the guide is like pick up this item and then just cast remedy on a boss, and it like cripples them. But the guide I'm following is for basic Final Fantasy 12, not international version, which is what we all have. So right. I don't have the item.
Yeah, I figured that out pretty quick too with trying to follow a FAQ from the old game, and I'm like, okay, well that's not there. So let me I'm gonna have to just figure this out. But
I mean, there are a few I did find a few international version FAQs, but the one I found was written in half Japanese, half English, and I'm like, this is a little hard to read.
Yeah, that's helpful.
But I do like the quickening system a lot. Like the whole having a combo off that is pretty good. Mm. Like that's I killed that Esper. Like the optional Esper is I did half damage to it. It killed my party of 3 people, and then I spawned in the other 3 characters, and then I killed it with more quickenings.
Nice.
I feel the game feels weird because it's it doesn't feel like you should grind much, but on the other hand, it feels like you should a lot.
Yeah, because
I have a buttload of license points. I'm just unlocking shit on both boards now, where I'm just doing it just to do it. I don't need anything. I'm like, oh, you can access the Ultima weapon for the Knight class, and I'm like, great, that's 30 hours into it where I'll actually get that sword. Who cares?
Yeah, by then you're like, Don't care.
But on the flip side, like actually gaining experience seems to take forever, or like leveling your characters. And so it's kind of a weird like push and pull with that stuff.
Right.
Like I'm unlocking like white magic like level 11 like spells, and I'm like, well, I don't have those at all. I barely have like a level 6. So what exactly am I supposed to do here?
Yeah. So you also have a preview code for the Escapist 2.
Yeah. I tried to play an hour or two of it. It has the same problems as the first Escapist, where like that game really wants you to think vertically in a prison, like to dig or to like go in like air vents and like move around. But like it's not conducive to like the player that you're supposed to do that. Like there's like a training prison, like it kind of acclimates you to like the controls and everything. And it's like, okay, dig in this area and go under the wall. And I'm like, if you didn't tell me I could do that, I would have never figured this out. Like, so I don't know.
Well,
like, and
I guess that's the point, though, right? It's telling you. So.
Yeah, but you can't just dig anywhere either. Like that's the thing.
Okay.
Like I think there's like some special map that shows like where you can dig and like what areas you can do that in. But that's kind of about it. Like you do the same stuff as the first game. You like try to do quests for people and fashion weapons and like better gear for your character and like skill up. But I mean, it seems like to me essentially the same game as the first one.
Been playing anything else?
I finished Nier Automata finally. That was good. Like that game.
So you like the ultimate ending or whatever?
Yeah, I got all the endings. Like the 5th ending is really weird too, which is awesome. Because it's like a Geometry Wars game where you're like fighting against the game credits.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it's like right when, like it's a pretty long, like the credits is pretty long to begin with, but then right when it gets like the Square Enix credits, it just gets like fucked hard. Where like, and if you die more than like 5 times, the game's like, all right, you can call in some people to help you out. And I was like, yes, because I'm never gonna be able to beat the marketing department.
Yeah, it's still funny that that's in there.
And that trophy store is really nice in that game.
So what's in there? Like,
you can just buy all the trophies.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we talked about that.
And then you can like buy some of the trophies. They're expensive in the game. Buy some of the trophies, reload your save, and then buy more.
Nice. Well, so to run through these quickly, of course, we're basically at the end of the month here, so the free games for both systems are out. The Xbox games for gold is Slime Rancher, August 1st to the 31st. I think you played that game on PC.
No, I just saw videos.
Oh,
looks cool.
Okay. Trials Fusion, August 16th to September 15th. That's pretty good. Of course, for the 360, which also works on Xbox One, Bayonetta 1. So, awesome. You get to play Bayonetta on your Xbox One. And Red Faction Armageddon, which is a pretty good...
Oh, that's the bad one.
Oh, that's the bad one. Okay. Which maybe
you get 3 good games and 1 bad game.
Not a bad churn on that. And there's also the Xbox Game Pass games for August. Remember, they don't start taking games away until November, so these just get added to the pile on there. Dead Rising 3, Limbo, which I don't know why, if you still haven't played that game at this point, you might as well. Dirt Rally, So Many Me, Ultratron, Pharaonic, I don't think I've heard of half these games, and Metal Slug 20, which Metal Slug's always great, so, yeah. Anything?
I mean, if I had Slime Rancher or an Xbox One, I'd play Slime Rancher.
The PS Plus is Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry. For PS4, Just Cause 3. On PS3, you have Snakeball, Super Mother Load. And then on Vita, you have Level 22 and Downwell, which Downwell is also cross-buy with PS4. So, I forgot about that Freedom Cry thing. So,
I played through it. It was fun. It's like a short experience, but it's fun.
cool. And you liked Just Cause 3, right?
Yeah, maybe on like PS4 ran is kind of hitchy in spots, but it's a good game.
Well, Nintendo got great news, as of course this being the end of Q2, you have everybody sort of reporting their earnings and stuff. Nintendo now has 4.7 million Switches sold since it released in March. That's halfway to how many the Wii U sold, period. So that should let you know this system is working a lot better. During this fiscal quarter, they sold almost 2 million. So that's also pretty good. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has 3.54 million sold, which means about 3/4 of Switch owners have Mario Kart. Legend of Zelda has 3.9, which means 83% of Switch owners also own Zelda, which that's like a no-brainer at this point. And ARMS surprisingly sold over 1 million too, which is and that was in 2 weeks from June 18th to June 30th. So that's actually pretty good for new IP for Nintendo on that one.
Sure.
Surprised by ARMS selling that well?
I mean, kind of, because I remember like the reviews for that were kind of iffy.
Right.
So, but it looks like it's Punch Out for the Switch. So there you go.
Gonna be interesting with Splatoon 2 how well that sells.
That'll probably do well.
Speaking of selling, the SNES Classic had pre-orders go up at Walmart last week on a Friday around midnight for about 40-45 minutes. They were there, you ordered one, and then all of a sudden they started canceling pre-orders, and sadly you no longer have an SNES Classic.
Yeah, they canceled they canceled all of them by like Wednesday. And I guess like the we're sorry email, and it's like, well, if you're sorry, include some money or something.
I'm sorry. Hopefully you will get it when they actually do go on pre-order this time.
Yeah, like I'm not super hunting for it. Like I only saw it was on Twitter. I'm like, I'll grab one. Like my intention, if I do get one, is to flip it.
Oh, you're gonna flip it? You're not gonna keep it?
Nah. Like I have at least half those games like on actual like a cartridge, or at least like some of them, and like the novelty just isn't quite there enough for me. And I'd be happier with getting like $300 for it.
Yeah, you could definitely use that for something.
Like an actual copy of Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. Sadly, it's probably gonna cost about that much too.
No, Chrono Trigger is like $100, $125.
That's still a lot of money for one game, though. I mean, of course, back then that's probably might have been what it cost, like $80 or something.
No, it was like a $50-$60 game.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it's just rare now. I mean, they didn't make a ton of copies, and
Well, speaking of 64 or a Nintendo Classics, Nintendo has started to go trademark their controllers, and rumors came around that Nintendo trademarked the controller that's pretty much the controller design that's pretty much on the SNES Classic box. And they've also included Nintendo Switch, which obviously is out there right now, the NES because of the NES Classic, and Nintendo 64. So perhaps a Nintendo 64 Classic will be coming.
I don't see that happening for two reasons. First, like technological, like that, I imagine it's harder to emulate that thing than like a SNES or an NES. I mean, it's certainly possible, but it's not like great.
I have an
And
emulator for the 64 on my computer right now.
sure, but it
Yeah.
requires like a bunch of plugins and cores and shit. Like, it's not as easy as like a SNES or NES. That's my thing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that either this is going to have less games, or you might start running the gambit of this one's going to cost $100,
Well,
and $20 of that is going to be the.
that was going to be my other thing is like, let's say this thing had like 15 games on it. I can't name 15 N64 games I would want. I can name like 10, but
Right.
not 50. Like 15 is kind of pushing it, especially since you wouldn't have access probably to like Donkey Kong 64. GoldenEye's out, obviously.
They could
Perfect
get
Dark's out.
GoldenEye.
No, they couldn't.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then Perfect Dark, that Microsoft.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they could work a deal out with Microsoft since they have a deal with them for Minecraft and everything.
Yeah, I mean, sure, because Microsoft could use the money at this point, but I mean, they just put Minecraft on anything, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is like about 5 of the games are in that collection. So
yeah, I mean, obviously you'd get like Mario Kart, both Zeldas, Wave Race, Star Fox, but after like the obvious
Paper
games,
Mario.
yeah, maybe, but after the obvious games, you're just kind of going like, well, can you get Glover?
Probably Kirby would be in there.
Yeah.
I think they would wind up having to get the one, even though they were in that Rare replay, they would have to get those games from Rare because that would take up.
Yeah, like Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, like, I mean, you can't have a 64 thing without Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
And Super Smash Brothers, the original, I mean, I think people are going to want that. But,
those like 3 like Mario Party games.
Yeah, you'd have to think that one of the Mario parties would be in there.
And No Mercy, WWF No Mercy.
Oh, come on. Would WWE let them do it, though? And I don't think they would.
Hell no. Like, you can
That'd
do it
be great if they did, though.
You can do it if you remove Chris Benoit.
God, I forgot about that. He's in there, yeah.
But yeah, like the N64 just didn't have a great number of good game, super memorable games.
Yeah, like Pokemon Snap and Stadium probably would be.
How are you gonna do? I mean, yeah, I don't think Pokemon Stadium would, because I think you need that game.
No, you don't need that's just to play the Game Boy games.
Oh.
On there, you can play the thing without that. Rogue Squadron, possibly, and then a Mario Tennis probably would also be in there. But yeah, you'd have a ton of. It's Mario this, Mario that, and then some games, but that the F-Zeros as well. But just they could do it. It's just about how many games are you going to put in it, and how much it's going to cost. That's
Put Resident Evil 2 in there.
They could. They always have a thing with Capcom.
So. Yeah. That was like one of the few Capcom games for that system.
Yeah, it's true. But I would not be surprised if we see that, honestly. There's a lot of people that have nostalgia for the N64. The problem is, then you would have to make controllers available for it separately, because that's a 4-player system.
Yep.
So,
I mean, you could buy NES Classic controllers separately too, but
yeah. Well, that's because that only came with one. At least with the SNES, it comes with both the controllers. So.
Yeah. But you have to imagine, like, if the controller gets damaged or something, they'll sell you extras.
Right. So Square Enix, I mean, they talked about having FF15 having a multiplayer mode for a while, and they finally revealed some of the information about it. The mode's called Comrades. Basically, you can create a custom character. There's eventually going to be something added to where you can play with the main characters if you want. You're going to complete quests, and you can have custom clothing and all that at outposts. And we don't know where it's going to be at, but there is going to be a beta if you bought the season pass from August 3rd to the 8th, so next week. Are you interested?
I didn't even know about this, honestly. I don't know if I really want to play multiplayer Final Fantasy 15 to begin with.
Oh, hey, me and you can play.
That's true, but like, I actually thought the party AI in that game was like shockingly good. So
yeah, that was one of the best things about that game.
I don't want some dumbass in the party just wandering around.
That's true, but hey, it's always fun to have that person with you, because I think a lot of people thought, oh man, I wish somebody could play with me as one of the other characters.
You know that big city, like halfway in the game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I imagine it'll take place like around there.
Probably, yeah. Or in like the like open the open area at the beginning.
Yeah, maybe. And do you see also that they're like finally releasing those like Power Ranger suits?
Oh, really? Wow.
Nice. You can only wear them for a half hour per day because they make you invincible.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And they also call upon the Dragon Zords. No, I'm kidding.
If only.
Yeah, it's weird how much Square has supported that game. Like, not overtly. Like, I know episode Prompto came out recently, but it's just like little stuff here and there.
I think that's probably because they feel like after the Chapter 13 stuff and kind of sort of having to rush the game out there, they feel like they need to.
Well, it's probably like we got the assets, let's use them.
Yeah, that too. But they are creating new stuff in there, like, they're trying to make different playable characters now and add story stuff. I mean,
yeah,
seems like extra stuff for a game this big. This Marvel vs. There's a lot of. I remember seeing this and going, "Wow, this does not look like her at all."
Yeah.
And then people got so mad at the fact that Chun-Li does not look like Chun-Li in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite that Capcom was releasing a day one patch to fix her facial animation texture work.
Yeah, they said they're gonna fix other characters. I think Dante was mentioned also, but Chun-Li looks specifically bad.
Yes, just really bad. They did announce new characters, so Spider-Man, Gamora, and then Mike Hagar from Final Fight, Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, and Frank West from the Dead Rising games. So
I think except for, I want to say Star-Lord and Gamora, this game has exactly the same roster as Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Which is super fucking depressing to me.
That's sad, yeah. And no X-Men.
Yeah. Well, 3 didn't have them either.
Oh, okay. Well, that's sad too. Well, hey, at least you're getting the game, right?
I'm not.
Excited for that.
I mean, if I get it for review, I'll play it, but I'm not going to buy it, I don't think.
You're not excited for it at all?
No. After Street Fighter V, first of all, no. There's lost a lot of, cachet with people, but from step one, this game has seemed like it's been on the wrong footing. And with every character announcement and, feature they've talked about, it's like, boy, you guys just really, increasingly don't get it, do you?
Yeah, it seems like there's something lost in translation there for them.
I want it to be like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or 1, where you just had characters that seemed completely random in the game, like Captain Commando or like Ruby Heart, or the one character I would actually want in that game is Asura from Asura's Wrath.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Especially since they did like a quasi fighting game in Asura's Wrath. He fought like it was based on like Street Fighter 4, but he fought I think Akuma and Evil Ryu. And it's like that would be an awesome character for like this game. But this game seems so like corporate synergy focused and that type of nonsense that it has like no identity whatsoever anymore.
Feels like they're just putting it out to kind of make one for this generation, and then that's...
Yeah, probably.
It's not like they really set out to, oh my god, we want to have Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, it seems like a fairly passionless endeavor.
Right, yeah. It's just kind of like, okay, hey, everybody get excited for this, and then you just increasingly don't get excited for it at all.
Like, I mean, it's a sequel, but like when Injustice 2 came out, like Ed Boon seemed excited about the game, and he's like still talking about it, and like that gameplay also plays it pretty safe, but at least has an identity and
right.
Like, has like, new features in it, like that most fighting games don't have. Like this game has like Sigma and Ultron are the boss, and that's it.
Wonderful. But hey, fighting games are ruling the roost right now. At least for June, they did Tekken 7 and Injustice 2 1-2 as the top-selling games for June. Of course, there's only physical sales. No digital counted here. The hardware sales, PlayStation 4 still the best-selling console. For that month, they saw a 7% increase in hardware and software from last year. So their best June ever. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still on this list, and they're number 3 of all. Good Lord. This game just does not stop selling at this point. It's insane. Speaking of insane, Crash Bandicoot in 2 days in 4th. That's pretty amazing. The nostalgia pop for Crash Bandicoot happened that quickly, and that's only physical sales. I can't imagine if you had the digital in there where it could have been. ARMS right behind it, Zelda, Breath of the Wild in there, Mario Kart 8, Overwatch, NBA 2K17, and Horizon Zero Dawn. So only Tekken, Injustice, and ARMS and Crash Bandicoot actually came out in that month.
Yeah, but you have to remember, like, July is also a slow month.
Oh, no, this is for June, but yeah, I mean...
I'm in June, sorry, but yeah. Like, not a ton of games came out.
Both months. I mean, July is going to be even more interesting what's going to be there, because there was not, like...
It'll be GTA 5 at number 1.
Probably. And actually, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands is the best-selling game so far this year.
Yeah.
And For Honor is, like, number 3. So Ubisoft apparently gets people to buy their games, but nobody talks about them.
Yeah, I saw like a few like For Honor things. Like For Honor's getting like dedicated support, like to try to bring back people. But also like the number of people playing For Honor right now on Steam is like laughably low. It's like 1,000 people.
Goodness.
Like I'm sure Counter-Strike, like original Counter-Strike, has like vastly more than that.
I wonder how many Ghost Recon actually has playing right now. I mean, I guess if it's the best-selling game, it's got to have quite a number of people playing right now, because it is a multiplayer-focused game.
Yeah, original Counter-Strike has 7,000 people playing it right now.
Jeez. It's amazing that game still.
Wildlands has 2,500 people.
That's not too bad. Are you excited for Sims 4? Finally coming to.
I think I played Sims 3 like once or twice, and I'm like, I didn't quite get it at all. And like Sims 4 didn't aim to the legs that Sims 3 did.
No, but it seems like Wow, it took them this long to bring it to consoles. It's coming November 17th. If for some reason you are hyped on The Sims and have a PS4 or Xbox One
I
and
mean,
want to play this,
you say that, but Sims 3 also took a really long time to come to consoles also. And it wasn't a great port, if I remember correctly. So, they're probably trying to take their time or trying to get it right. At least hopefully. You never know with EA anymore.
they could always put it out and then patch it, like a lot of people do.
Yeah, it works so well for SimCity.
Yeah, you don't want another one of those problems. Like, avoid that at all costs if you
Yes,
are.
SimCity 4 came out in 2014. That's kind of a while.
Wow. That's you mean? So wait, the SimCity.
No.
Uh,
Sims 4 came out in 2014, sorry.
wow, so it's borderline gonna be 4 years old by the time it comes out. Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like we've been waiting at least that long for the announcement that was really exciting about a week and a half ago. Wolf Among Us 2 is finally coming next year. Final season of Walking Dead, so it ends at season 4, and a season 2 of Batman, which has a subtitle that I don't remember right now.
I think the Demon Within You or something stupid like that.
Enemy with, or something enemy something.
I think it's like the Enemy Within.
Might be. I still need to finish the Batman. But I loved Wolf Among Us 1. I am so happy that Wolf Among Us 2 is finally coming.
Yeah, it is the Enemy Within. Of the 3 announcements, I'm going to agree with you that I care about Wolf Among Us, assuming they don't fuck it up. I didn't like Batman that much, and no one cares about The Walking Dead anymore.
Yeah, I stopped at like season 2.
So did I.
And
I finished season 2, but at that point it already seemed like it was like on its last legs. Like it seemed to just kind of it was kind of just stretched too thin. And you had
yeah.
you had a bunch of characters that you just don't care about. Like you care about Clementine to an extent, but she was also kind of barely in it. Like she's kind of barely like in it for like a lot of it.
She's supposed to be in 3 a lot more, but
yeah, but they also introduced like another playable character. Like
right.
The whole thing is from his perspective. And like 3 came out this recently, or like I think it's finished recently, and like no one cared about it, or like no one talked about it, or reviewed it, or it like just diminishing returns for that game.
Yeah, I think it also kind of they created way too many like spin-off thing. Like I got the Michonne thing, and I think I actually played through that, and then I was like, all right, I think I'm done with this now.
Yeah, it was funny. I want to say it might have been Batman, or what's like their last thing they did? I forget what it was.
Well, you had the Minecraft story mode thing. Telltale, the Guardians of the Galaxy is the one they're doing now, which that's actually good.
I think it might have been Guardians. I think I was trying to get like a review code for it. I think on like just email, and the woman was like, "We don't give out review codes," and I'm like, I was thinking to myself like, I have a review for me shown, like from a review copy that you guys gave for One Mania. Like
yeah, I have a review copy of the Minecraft story mode.
And then I looked for it, and it wasn't on 4-1 Mania, and I'm like, I know I reviewed it, and then I looked around like on my hard drive, and I'm like, I found the review was like half written, and I was like, oh, I guess I didn't finish this one.
That's funny. I probably have, I don't know how many of those, so I can't say anything. Yeah, it's
like the one I really don't care about though is Batman. Like they're gonna try to make it more of an action game, and no. I don't want to play an action game with that game engine.
I thought it was okay, but like the lag hurts it because you're
That,
pressing the button down and.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like asking you to like do all these like swipes with the analog stick and like press certain buttons at a certain time in like a quick fashion. But the game just can't handle it.
It's like, oh, yep, our engine does not do these. It still has the same problems.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're ever going to change that, but people keep buying them, so.
I mean, do they?
They gotta keep making these deals, right? Because people are buying these.
Yeah, but even like Guardians, like I just hear like no buzz about that game at all, and I'm sure it's good, but
I still keep wondering if I want to buy the other 2 episodes or not.
Like Minecraft Season 2 is already out, and like I saw like no reviews of that when it came out.
Oh wow! I actually liked that, and
it came out 3 weeks ago.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I remember liking that. I never played the second part of season 1 because they released like 3 extra episodes or whatever. But
yeah.
I did like like if not being a Minecraft fan, I could deal with it like that. Just I don't know. I can see why people are starting. It's starting to sort of just all kind of run together.
Like that's why I think like Life is Strange really caught people. Like just aside from the fact that it was like a new interesting setting for a game, like a good story, but it had a lot of the same aspects as like a Telltale game, but it felt a lot more fresh.
Right, and it had the different dynamic of the going back in time and that thing too, which I think helped a lot. Created a different gameplay dynamic than the one that's in the same thing in the Telltale game.
Also, I would rather have Tales from the Borderlands 2 than like Game of Thrones Season 2.
Oh, they shouldn't even make a Game of Thrones Season 2. The first one was not good. That's probably one of their worst ones. Was Game of Thrones, the fat first season.
Didn't it have like 1 or 2 characters from like the show for like?
Yeah, like Lena Headey and
Dinklage, I think.
Yeah, Dinklage show up in there. They make appearances
for like 2 minutes, and then they just
leave. Exactly. It's for like 2-3 minutes, and it's just like nope.
Like the problem really with like something like that versus like The Walking Dead is The Walking Dead has almost infinite story potential because you can just go to a different city and zombies, but
plus it also has comics to draw from that don't, and there are still characters that have not appeared on the TV show, so you don't have to worry about that.
But when I understand, Game of Thrones is a pretty centralized story.
Right, like they had to pull this ridiculous, like, oh, this is a short story about this one family that like nobody's probably read unless you're an absolute diehard of Game of Thrones. So it's essentially like a new story basically that they made up, and then they tried to bring it into some of the other characters, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Dying Light's getting free DLC, and they're gonna get DLC for the next year. You have that game, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think they said like new locations and enemies and quests. I mean, I imagine it'll be kind of like a lot of like I wouldn't say half-assed, but just kind of like a lot of like not important stuff. But like I don't see Dead Island 2 anytime soon, so this is probably what they got to do.
Probably. Yeah.
Remember Dead Island 2? Like that was supposed to be out this year or like last year or something, and
let's just not and say didn't they cancel it?
they took it from the developer, like the original developer, and they gave it to someone else. And then since then, there's been like no news.
So it's like in just hiatus.
Yeah, it's like
And-
Crackdown 3.
Yeah. So Crackdown is gonna come out.
So they say. I
It's
still have my doubts.
launching with the Xbox One X. I don't think it's not coming out now. But hey, I don't know that it's going to do great, but it's going to be there, at least. The Call of Duty, they did show a trailer for it at Comic-Con, which that's one of the ones I did not watch, just because I don't really care about the zombies thing.
I watched it. None of these people were in the trailer. They just announced them. Like also, they're like, "Oh, we also have these people in this game."
Like, oh yeah, probably would have wanted to see their faces, but of course the ones I know are David Tennant, obviously Doctor Who, and Ving Rhames from movies that you remember in the '90s. But the other three, I have no idea who they are.
The other three are Catherine Winnick. I don't really know her. Udo Kier, you'd know him. He's I think he's a German actor. He's been in a ton of shit. He always plays kind of a creepy guy.
Oh, okay. I probably would know him, yeah.
And the final one is Elodie Young. She was Elektra in Daredevil Season 2.
I still need to finish Season 1.
Okay. She's good. She is one of the better parts of Daredevil, let's just say that. So.
Are you excited for the Defenders?
Yeah. I think Jeffrey reviewed a few episodes and he seemed to like it. I think they're going to try to fix Iron Fist a little. But I mean, I like those characters to begin with, so I mean, spending more time with them is good.
Yeah, I think the team up may also just help, so you're not having to focus so much on Iron Fist and all that. You can kind of bury him in with the other characters, or he might fit better.
And yeah, I want more Marvel crap, so the more they feed it to me, I'm happy.
And yeah, I think that's where we're going to get into of course, with Comic-Con having happened, there's going to be a lot more entertainment stuff to go around, so this is where we sort of end on the game stuff. But lots of trailers, of course, as you'd expect. I love the Thor Ragnarok one. I think this is probably the most excited I've been for a Thor movie.
Ever?
Yeah, out of the three. I mean, having Hulk in there doesn't, obviously helps as well. Ready Player One looks really cool. You can immediately tell Steven Spielberg has something to do with this movie. It has his fingerprints all over it in the trailer.
I thought, I know the book is terrible. What I've understood from other people on Twitter. I thought the trailer looked okay, but really dark. They're really trying to hide the CGI in some of those shots.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's good. Just, I'm not gonna...
I mean, it's a vastly different movie, but I'm not quite sure why. I got this comparison. But it reminded me of Forrest Gump.
Really?
Just because, this one character is interacting with all these, famous, icons.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Did you like the Justice League? 5 minutes.
No. It still looks like crap. It looks just... there's no color in that trailer. Even the shit that should have color looks desaturated to hell.
It's very dark. I'll say that.
The only thing that had color was Cyborg's eye, and Cyborg's terrible in that movie.
Yeah, you get to see Jason Momoa doing Aquaman.
Yeah, there was a shot of him going through a building or something like terrible. I thought.
I'm like, all right.
I thought, like, yeah, just
Ben
please
Affleck.
stop.
Ben Affleck was just very
Well, there's
stone-faced.
rumors about him like leaving or like not being happy, and I don't like.
Yeah, he's gonna do the one movie, the first Batman. See, I don't see the point of having him do the first Batman movie if he's not gonna do the other two. If that new director wants to make a trilogy as well, why the hell are you gonna have two different Batmans for the trilogy?
They'll be like, he got cosmetic surgery and now it's Christian Bale again.
Oh God, could you imagine Christian Bale?
And there's also I think there's also like a bunch of reports over like the past 2 days about like Justice League reshoots and like Henry.
Yeah, Joss Whedon changing things.
Yeah, which is kind of hilarious to me.
Always problems with the. I mean, thankfully Wonder Woman was great, or they'd really just still had this bad string of things. Which I think just Wonder Woman just surpassed Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
In money.
It's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
Like, Guardians 2 is probably a better movie.
Yeah, it seems rather divisive in, like, people either really didn't like that it was more emotional and had more character. I guess they wanted more of the first one, and they kind of don't understand that when you get to a second movie, you're going to have less of that. But
yeah. I mean, it still, made a bunch of money, so.
I really liked The Kingsman. This sort of felt like they were doing like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen-ish.
It reminded me of that R.I.P.D. movie.
That too. Yes.
Because, like, the British spy, the kid's British spy is fine. But, like, having a bunch of, like, caricature cowboys as spies,
yeah,
like, does not work.
That was, and like about 4 or 5 of them were cowboys, and it's like, whoa, okay.
And like one of them had an energy lasso, and it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, they even make a joke like, oh, you have a rope. He's like, it's a lasso.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's a rope, man. It's a rope. I didn't see the ones for Star Trek or The Bright, but
like Bright looked kind of cheesy.
What is
Star
that?
Trek. It's a Will Smith movie where he's a cop in like L.A., but like there's like magical creatures and shit. And his partner, I think, is like an orc, I think, or something like that. And they're hunting down like some evil magician or like some evil something or other.
That sounds cheesy.
And Star Trek Discovery looked fine, except for like they are really trying to tie it in to start like the Star Trek TV show or like the canon. So the main character is a human. I don't know her name, but she's a human raised on Vulcan, raised by Spock's parents, and is his like stepsister or something. And it's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, you don't need to tie that into the.
Like, I would be fine if it was human raised on Vulcan, fine. Raised by other Vulcans, okay. You don't need to tie her into Spock.
No, you don't. But
like,
they felt the need.
I think I saw an interview. It was like one of the writers was like, "Oh, we explain how this is like it's not going to break canon," and it's like you could have not broken canon by having it be someone else instead of like some really half-assed. It came before Spock, explanation or something.
I think they just want to have that tie and didn't really think about so much what it really means.
I did see an interview with Brian Fuller, the guy who created the show but left it. to do American Gods, where like he kind of seemed a little bitter about the show.
Why?
Because he wanted to do like an anthology show, like every season it would be like a different group of characters and or different ship and everything like that. And like I think CBS shut him down. And he also wanted Edgar Wright to direct the pilot, and it's like, first of all, you're not going to get Edgar Wright to direct like this piece of shit. Like that's crazy talk.
That's not even on CBS proper.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about Zack Snyder, thank God, is leaving after Justice League due to some family issues. Probably better for him because he doesn't really do great movies for them.
I mean, ideally, Joss Whedon would slip into that role, but I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't know. We'll see how the first one goes, right? I mean, he might have a little bit less red tape than he did with Disney, so maybe...
I mean, I'm actually kind of looking forward to Justice League, where it's going to be like 80% dark and gritty, and then like there'll just be like one or two, like there'll be scenes where like Superman has like a colorful suit, and I'll be like, oh, Joss Whedon directed this scene, okay.
Yeah, I'm guessing the ending was sort of alluding to Superman showing up.
It's either that or Detective Chimp, and I really hope it's Detective Chimp. If it's Detective Chimp, I'm going to see that movie 10 times.
I have to think it's probably not.
That's why. That's how they lose me. Also, the one last thing I'll mention is that Justice League trailer, the bad guy looks terrible.
Yes.
Like, could you pick a more obscure villain than Steppenwolf as like the fucking villain of this Justice League movie? Come on, people.
I know, right? Like, come on.
Unless it's going to be the band, which would be awesome then.
No, it's not.
It's like, a meaning of Darkseid. It's like, okay, who knows this character?
Like, diehards of DC, and that's about it. Cause
like you couldn't get like Lex Luthor. I mean, you already kind of ruined him from Superman, Batman vs Superman, or like Darkseid, or Brainiac.
One of the zillion Batman villains.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he will probably know about half the Batman villains before they know Steppenwolf.
No, I always say people know 80% of the Batman villains.
Well, plus, a lot of them are in Gotham, too. So,
like, he might not know Condiment King, which is fine, even though he's the best Batman villain ever. But most people know, like, Catwoman or Poison Ivy or Two-Face.
Hell, you could have done Scarecrow or something, and it would have been...
Yeah.
If you want to go with the dark theme. But, hey, you choose what you choose at that point. If you're DC and Warner Brothers and all that, I don't know who came down to, let's use Steppenwolf, but hey, whatever works for you. Christopher Nolan is not a big fan of Netflix's model of them doing the streaming and then having it there. He feels like they're trying to kill the theater. Whereas Amazon has that 90-day window where they allow the film to be in the theater and then it shows up on Amazon. I feel like Christopher Nolan is kind of just being angry for no reason. I don't think that there's nothing. It doesn't matter how great your home theater system gets. There's nothing that's gonna beat the theater experience.
Well, he talked. I mean, looking at the thing, he talked about the 70mm thing, which is always a thing that like Quentin Tarantino rants about, and it's like 3 people care about this bullshit: you, Tarantino, and maybe Martin Scorsese. That's about it. Like, I don't know about you. I don't see going to like the theater as a positive experience by and large.
I mean, it's cool to
Like,
go, but
like,
the
well,
money you have to shell out.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. You have a kid, so if
Right.
you wanted to see like an R-rated film, you're not going to take her, first of all, probably.
Right.
So you have to like arrange babysitting with your mom or someone else. Going to the theater like at night is probably like $15. Buying food at the theater is probably $30.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then if you want, like, let's say like you're going to see like, Wreck-It Ralph 2 with your daughter, in the daytime or something. That's $20 for the tickets, and then food for her and food for you possibly, and you're looking at like $50.
Mm.
And like fuck that. I'd rather see the film at my on my laptop as I'm playing Final Fantasy 12.
Well, I mean, I can sit there and watch it at home on the Blu-ray player on the PS4,
Yeah.
and make me something to eat, and I just saved a bunch of money, and I paid $1 at Redbox. I mean,
Yeah. Like I can understand the theoretical appeal of like going to like an IMAX theater or something like that, but most people don't have that type of money to blow on like a theater anymore.
yeah, it's the same thing. Why, like Red Lobsters and Olive Garden does okay because they've kind of adjusted with the times.
Yeah,
But like all these other places that haven't, they're starting to go out of business because people don't do that anymore. Where they go in and spend, especially like people our age, they don't go in and spend $50 a pop to eat.
Yeah.
At night on a date like that.
I did go to, I didn't spend the money. My friend thankfully paid for it, but I went to a Cheesecake Factory like a few weeks ago, and it was me and her. The bill was $45.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I remember doing that when I was in like college, and I'm sitting here going, why?
Yeah.
So,
like, I think if you have like a bunch of people together, like going to the theater can be like a good experience and stuff. But I mean, who cares? Like, I'm just not that interested in the social experience anymore.
yeah. So, it's just going out to eat, going to a movie, pretty much sort of doing anything that's not the regular everyday gets out of hand.
I'm lucky enough to have a very cheap theater by my place where they get new movies in, and like a matinee is like $5.
Oh, that's not bad.
But like that's a rarity now, like compared to most theaters.
I think mine that's not too far away from me does like $7.50
Yeah.
for matinee, which still isn't too bad compared to like the $12 or whatever they'll charge you at night. So
Yeah, and I think I also saw something recently that like IMAX has finally realized that people don't give a fuck about 3D movies anymore.
oh yeah, God, nobody wants to wear those glasses.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that they're doing the thing with the Inhumans, with the showing the first 2 episodes on those things.
Yeah.
Like, okay, whatever works for you there. But yeah, I mean, look, Christopher Nolan's using his power as a director to speak his mind. I get it, but this is the way a lot of things are now, and it's just how it is.
Yeah. And frankly, I'm happier to like have to watch something on like Netflix and on TV most of the time.
Yeah, because you can just get it, watch it, pause, play whenever you want to, go back and watch a couple episodes, and it's whatever. You
Speaking
don't
of
have
that, I gotta continue watching Glow.
How you liking it?
I was fine. I watched only one the like 3/4 of the first episode, but it seemed good. And I kind of like the subtle joke that no one knew who John Morrison's character's name.
Yeah, that's a weird name.
I was just like real life.
Yep, the small amount of people that watch Lucha Underground, you know, which that's supposedly getting a season 4 at this point, but we'll see how that goes. Speaking of Netflix, Matt Groening is coming back to making series, and it's going to be on Netflix this time. It's called Disenchantment, and they're going to be doing 2 seasons, 10 episodes each, and it's basically like a medieval setting, but like it's basically like a joke, and it's going to be animated, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's called Dreamland. It's the misadventures of a hard-drinking princess named Bean and her personal demon Lucy and an elf companion Elfo. And there's all sorts of, magical creatures. And it's about life, death, love, and sex, and how to keep laughing at a world full of suffering idiots, despite what the elders and wizards and other jerks will tell you. Alright, sign me up. You got me already. It sounds silly, but it'll be good. I don't know how much of a Futurama and Simpsons person you are, but
I enjoy Futurama. I don't like. I think parts of it were great. Parts of the later Comedy Central seasons weren't great. And I love The Simpsons up to season 10, and then they should have canceled the show.
yeah, still going, and it's not as good. And they are gonna bring back releasing the DVDs now.
Yeah, I think season 18 just got announced recently.
Yeah.
I actually had seasons 1 through 10 on DVD.
So did I. I think I had all the way up to 12, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
It's just they're not. I think I saw. I like reading the top 50 episodes of Simpsons, or top 20 episodes, 25 episodes. It's like there's not an episode past season 8.
Yeah, because they started going downhill after that. I mean, it's just it's like almost anything long running though. That's so hard to just do for that many episodes and that many seasons a year.
I would say yeah, but I would also say have the quiet dignity to go out on top and not ruin the legacy.
Yeah, not keep doing it because Fox needs to keep doing it. With as much as Fox cancels shows, it's amazing that they've kept The Simpsons on this long.
The interesting thing to me is Family Guy had kind of the same arc as The Simpsons, only it was much quicker.
Well, yeah, because their jokes are all parody jokes.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, seasons 1 through 3 of Family Guy are actually really good, I think. They're a lot slower, but they're a lot more story focused to an extent, and not as cruel and mean. Mm-hmm. And then after Family Guy got canceled and then came back, the show just got really bitter and too up its own ass. And it's just I think after it came back, it's just not good anymore. Period. It hasn't been good ever since then.
I think it had that 1 year where it came back where it was still good, and then after that, it tailed off really bad. Let's see what else is there from. I found this sort of interesting just because this movie now has this kind of lore around it because they don't sell it here anymore.
Oh, I thought you meant the Emoji Movie.
No, the Whoopi Goldberg wanting the Song of the South to be sold in the United States again. That's different. I mean, I guess it would have to come from an African American person saying that, right? That it's okay. They want to be able to talk about it, and they want to be able to have it be expressed.
To an extent, but also she was the one who had Ted Danson introduced her in blackface years ago when they were dating. It's that didn't go over too well.
No, yeah, I'm pretty sure she should have known better. She also wants the Black Crows to be sold as merchandise more often, the ones from Dumbo. And, well, I don't know if that's going to happen either, but, she is a Disney legend now, so I guess she feels like she can just speak her mind about these things. And, honestly, I wouldn't mind if they started selling it again. I think if you sort of explain that we want to release this for people to decide whether they want to buy it or not. And it's like one of those old live-action Disney movies. Like, the amount of people that are really going to go out there and buy this thing is, I think, it'd be small anyway. So,
yeah, I just look at it as like a historical curiosity and nothing else.
Right.
And I actually I had the record as a kid.
Well, yeah, like Zippity Doo-Dah, they still do it today. It's their main theme song, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, that song, you can't watch the movie it's from, but that song's everywhere when you go to, like, Disney parks and stuff, so.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird. Speaking of historical, the Game of Thrones producers are going to make a alternative timeline of the Civil War, and the show's going to be called Confederate. And yeah, like it was going to show all the events leading up to the Civil War. I'm assuming that if it goes multiple seasons, they'll eventually have to show the Civil War itself.
I thought it was like an alternate reality present day show.
It's an alternate timeline that tells the events leading up to the Third American Civil War.
That's what I meant. Like, I thought
yeah.
It was like now or something.
Okay, never mind. I'm confused.
Yeah.
They just used the Confederate name, and I'm thinking, going back to.
There was a movie, I want to say 10 years ago, maybe probably longer, called The Confederate States of America. I don't think it really came out in theaters. You can find it on YouTube if you want. But it's a black director and writer. He basically it's like a mockumentary of like what if the Civil War won, or what if the Confederates won the Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's like it's very low budget, but it's like really like it's interesting to like look at like compared to like especially things nowadays.
I just kind of want to watch it just from the perspective of.
Yeah, it came out in 2004, and like it's not there. It's like I said, it's low budget, but it's like they have like a lot of historical things from it to an extent, and like it's interesting to like see some of like his take on like popular like folklore, I guess, or Americana stuff. Like Elvis Presley like leaves America and goes to Canada, and there's like a Great Wall across the northern border of Canada.
Huh. Nice. I might have to go check that out for sure. But I mean, this being from them, it's going to be really good. I'm sort of interested. It's not going to air probably till 2019 when Game of Thrones final season is done, which makes sense. They got a lot going of that. But
do you watch Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
I saw someone on Twitter recently, someone I like. She used to do like I think episode YouTube video like review episodes on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And someone asked her, like, are you going to do this current season? And she's like, no, because the writers are bad of the show. And I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I'm thinking, I don't know if they're good or bad. That's one thing. But at least they can come out with episodes. Like, I haven't seen that last Game of Thrones book at all. Have you?
Yeah. Speaking of, he did say that he's halfway or 3/4 done with the 6th book.
It's only been like 10 years.
Yeah, at this point, I think he's also writing a fiction of how the Targaryens came about, and that actually might come out before the 6th book. He said for sure you're getting something in 2018, perhaps both of them, if not for sure 2019. It's like, do you know how old you are? Like, he may, but this dude at this point, with all, he has had health problems and everything else. Like, obviously, I think he's in that I don't give a crap mode, whether something happens to him or not, and the series doesn't end. I would assume that he has somebody else that he's sort of told things to, that perhaps if something happens to him, they could write the 7th book to finish the series, but
It'll be the writers of the show.
Yeah, at this point, they could probably do just as good a job. Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about. I've enjoyed the all the episodes that they've shown so far of the season, and this season's short. It's only 7 episodes, so it kind of sets things in motion for that final season to happen and everything just be crazy. So
yeah.
Speaking of crazy, I didn't think I'd be seeing the. I think some of these I did just because they're doing that Netflix series of at least Full House, but Hulu has gotten the rights to Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step, Perfect Strangers, and Hang with Mr. Cooper in their entireties. Starting in September, you're going to be able to watch all of these, September 29th. That's pretty awesome. I watched a lot of Hanging with Mr. Cooper and Family Matters when I was a kid.
What about Mr. Belvedere? Ask no one ever.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Like, are you sort of...
I mean, I don't think that stuff has aged well, and I don't have Hulu, so it doesn't really matter to me, but I guess it's cool. Like, I watched like a lot of Perfect Strangers and Family Matters as a kid, and even like a lot of Step by Step to an extent.
Yeah, I think at some point, like, you couldn't turn on TV in the 90s and not have one of these shows be on.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, so it is kind of cool to be able to relive that nostalgia. And then, they got Seinfeld last year, so they're really going through the 90s at this point. And
I want them to have period accurate commercials.
That would be great. But sadly, they won't.
No.
Are you November 21st is when the Runaways series premieres. Are you excited about that at all?
I'll try to watch it, but I'm not like that interested in it, because like the cast seems kind of, I don't want to say lacking, but like pandering.
Yeah, they're really gonna have to do a good job of acting in that show.
Because like one of the characters is supposed to be like a young blonde girl, and they changed her to be like I want to say Spanish like girl, and it's like, okay, and
it's the affirmative action casting.
I mean, to an extent, yeah. And like another girl, she's green in the comic, and I don't see any green characters in the photos they've released.
Nope. Maybe she turns green later.
Maybe. I think she's supposed to be green though.
But it's their TV show. I guess they get to decide what they want to do with it.
I mean, I'll give it a shot just because I'll watch any Marvel crap except for maybe Inhumans, but...
you're going to wind up watching it.
I'm going to watch it. I will watch it more out of morbid curiosity and wanting to have a laugh than anything else.
It's still watching it. I would love to see them...
Yeah, okay, go on.
Go ahead. I was going to say I would love to see... Haley Atwell talked about if they could wrap up... damn it, what was the thing she did?
Agent Carter?
Yeah, if they could wrap up her Agent Carter in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it would probably have to be like a Hulu or Netflix movie. I don't think they would do you know, a whole like Marvel feature length thing with her. But
oh no. What I was going to say though is, there was a character on Runaways called Molly Hayes, and they turned her into Molly Hernandez, and it's like, all right,
why? That seems really unnecessary. Darkwing Duck's gonna be in the DuckTales, so I know you
yeah.
gotta be excited.
I hope they get that voice actor back, but it should be good. Like I like Darkwing Duck a lot actually.
I think that's cool to get to see him, so I'm down with that.
I hope it leads to like a new Darkwing Duck show.
We can dream, right? Perhaps.
Actually, the show I want them to bring back is Gargoyles.
I would love to see that. I'm surprised nobody's tried with this, dark and gritty as people like shows now. So
I would be way into a Kingdom Hearts Gargoyles world.
That would be amazing. You kind of get a little bit of it with when they do like Hercules and stuff, but I think they could do better if they did a whole Gargoyles thing. But that's if I wonder if with Kingdom Hearts 3 if they would think about releasing DLC and having different worlds and stuff.
I would say yes.
I'd kind of feel weird though. Like I kind of would want them to wait until the next.
Pay us to for the Frozen world.
Basically. Would not be surprised at all at this point if that's what happened. So, I think aside from discussing games here, you have the Sundered game that came out today. Hey Pikmin came out today. You have Tacoma that comes out next week, which I'm still waiting to hear back from Fulbright on if that winds up we get that in or not. Sinmora X, the remake.
Woo!
Or remaster, coming next week as well. The new Nintendo 2DS XL came out today. Everybody run out there and buy that.
Inferior version of a great console.
The Miitopia game came out today too. So, there you go. A 3DS, you got some games there.
Now I just need to get a 3DS.
Are you really going to get a 3DS though?
I mean, if I had the money, I might get one.
That's a long list of games you got to go buy though.
I'm sure piracy's gotten to some point on the 3DS that would not be a huge issue anymore.
I guess we'll see at this point. But yeah, lots of stuff coming in the next few weeks though. It's August and things are about to start getting hot and heavy pretty quick.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah, you get the Uncharted. It's coming out towards the end of August. You get Ages of Mayhem coming out in the middle. Hellblade comes out in a few weeks, along with Lawbreakers. So and that's just the tip of the iceberg, I think, for some of those. So, yep, getting ready for this big set of to start the fall season here.
There's not that many big fall games I'm that excited for it, except for like Assassin's Creed and Mordor. That's about it.
Oh, really?
For me, anyway.
But all right, I think that's gonna do it for us for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed what you heard here. If you do, hit subscribe on the Video Games to the Max feed, or if you want to listen to everything else that I do, You can listen. You can just subscribe to WTM Network. Go visit WTMnet.com for things that we write, or I'll get back on finally these tournaments and everything else are ending. I can get back to writing game stuff and editing game stuff.
You could just not review a tournament once in a while.
That too. At least I'm only doing it on podcast form and not writing it, which would take forever. But yeah, until we will be back, hopefully next week. See you later, everybody.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.